This video is brought to you by the FARMER-KLEIN YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Ibis Farm. This map can be found over at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. But before we get into that, this video is brought to you by Paul Nadon Jr. Thank you for being a farm baron. So this is another South American map, specifically a Brazilian map. I have to say they have had quite the showing as of late from their map creators. And let's read a little bit of the description. It says, map made for players who like flat and hilly terrain. I try to create something for both like to remember the regions. I hope it has satisfied most so we can get a better gameplay. So let's go ahead and kind of jump on in. As always, we will go ahead and select the mods that we typically use when we take a look at these maps. Now, this map does not have a seasons mask, nor does it have a custom soil map. And here we are. So we load in precisely 6 a.m. It's a little dark, so let's go ahead and fast forward time a little bit. There we go. 8 a.m. The sun is up, the moon is down, and here we are at the main starting farm. So while we have a house here, it does not have a sleep trigger. Again, that's not that big of a deal because we can put our own down. We have a bevy of different choices available to us. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map itself. This isn't a big map. If you zoom on out, you'll see the full size of a standard size map. I would say that this is maybe taking about, I don't know, 2/3 of a standard size map. You can see we have all of the standard crop types available to us here on Farm Sim 19. We take a look at the lands area. Start out by owning the main farm, which includes chicken, farm silo, and cow area. That is $165,000 to buy. We also have field 2, $70,600, and field 1, $131,000. For a total of 8 fields on the map. And then we have the unbuyable area. That is truly indeed unbuyable at $14 million. Now, if we take a look at some of these other field prices, field 7, which is 18.6 hectares or 47 acres, $764,000. Field 8, 46 acres or 17.74 hectares, $754,000. So those are the two biggest fields on the map. Kind of expensive, but then again, they're pretty big overall. Let's go ahead and take a look. We do not have a biogas plant. I was trying to remember from my initial walkthrough of this map. We do not have a biogas plant. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how the generic soil map is being mapped out with these field placements. So you can see based on where the map is located and the fields are located with the generic soil map, you've got a fair bit of loam through fields 7 and 8. 7, 4, 3, and 5, and 2 have a mixture of loam, sandy loam, silty clay, and loamy sand. So quite an interesting mix of soil types here. We take a look at our sell points. We have one main sell point for the bulk of our grain crops. We have a sell point for cotton and wool at selling station 3. Eggs and milk can be sold at the main grain sell point and selling station number 2. There is no location to sell our wood chips or our logs. And if we do not own the biogas plant, well, we can sell our hay, straw, and grass at selling station 3, but there is no place to sell silage unless you put one down yourself, which again isn't that big of a deal because we now have at this stage in Farm Sim 19's life, several placeable biogas plants, several placeable sell points. So we're really not that big of a loss for not having a sell point for silage, given the fact that this map does not include a biogas plant. Here we have our starting equipment available to us in all play modes. So I did load this map up in Farm Manager and in New Farmer, which is what we are in right now. And the main farm is laid out exactly how you see it here, including starting equipment for all play modes. Something else to note is that the power poles on the map are collision free. So you're going to be able to drive through those or have your hired help drive through those should you have poles within your map or within your field. Let's go ahead and take a look at that starting equipment. We start out with Stara ST Max 105 and the New Holland T6 175. So our tractors range in horsepower from 105 to 175 horsepower. We have the New Holland TX32 Harvester that is paired up with the TX32 Grain Header, the Farm Tech TDK 1600 trailer. Then we have the Stara Fox 11 cultivator slash seeder, and the seeder will work with grass, oilseed radish, or canola. Then we have a Series Master 37 or 3570, and it is our main seeder. We've got the Kuhn Deltas Fertilize Sprayer, the Breedall K105 Lime and Fertilize Spreader, front loader arms, pallet fork, weight, and then we move on into cow pasture, chicken coop, grain silo, and these are pretty much the base game items. They're showing up as mods here, but I'm not really sure why. They're pretty much base game equipment. Go ahead and look here at our placeables. You can see that we can sell and buy the cow pasture and chicken coop. Here we have the quote modded grain silo, 200,000 liters. Okay. 200,000 liters, same crops. Like I said, I'm not really sure why it's showing up as a mod as opposed to just being standard in-game fare. But it is buyable nonetheless. And there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the chicken coop. So here we have our chicken coop. Obviously, we have our buy point for our chickens. We have our egg spawn point. And then we have our food trough over here on the side. And then inside our gate here, we have our farm silo. So we have our dump station to the left, our fill pipe to the right, and then we have our cow pasture. So we use the animal pen extension mod, which helps us locate, one, where the water trough is, and two, help see if we have custom support for the water pipes. So here we have our water trough. We have our cow drop-off point, just like the standard base game fare. Food trough. Our milk trigger around the side. Again, we use the animal pen extension mod. And that is what puts the Lily milk sales machine up here. Should we so wish, we can relocate this. And then we can have automatic milk sales if you use that particular mod. Then we have our manure and slurry point and our straw trigger. Again, because this is, for all intents and purposes, the base game cow area. Let's just go ahead and take a look. We've got our standard food requirements for our chickens and standard everything for our cows. At this point, let's get set up for that fly around. We'll take a quick look around the map, jump in the Mahindra at the shop, and drive around to the sell points and see what this map is all about. Get a little bit of altitude here and just take a little spin. One of our sell points is there to the south. There we can see the big hunk of land that is kind of outside the playable area. We have our two starting fields down here, fields 2 and 1. Again, these power poles do not have collisions, but interestingly enough, and when I saw this, I was kind of surprised. I was like, huh, you should see this in more maps. We've got a scarecrow out here in the middle of the field, around this little grass patch. Kind of like this treatment. Now, interesting enough, he does have collision. So your hired helper is going to avoid this guy like the plague. Kind of like, you know, hopefully the crows are going to avoid this field because of this guy's being hung up out in the middle of it. Well, I guess the crows aren't all that overly worried about the scarecrow. So, see, he's doing his job. But yeah, I started to think, man, we maybe should see that more often. Or see little scarecrows in, like, farmers' gardens and things. So, like I said, we've got a big sell point there to the south. We've got our garage. We have our fuel station. And just kind of a word for the wise. The fuel station here, the fuel trigger is on the inside. So if you pull up to the outside, there, or there, you're not going to get the fuel trigger. You've got to be on the inside. So you've got to be here or here. Just a word to the wise on that. Now here we have a lime point. Now this is kind of set up very interesting. I like how this is set up. This is set up as kind of a lime crusher, limestone crusher. We've got giant lime boulders, or limestone boulders. And then we've got a loader here that's actually got some limestone in it. Got some limestone in the crusher itself. And then to obviously get your lime, you're going to come and drive through here. We're going to take a closer look at that when we do get to the drive around phase. Over here we have selling station 2, which I think was set up for our milk and eggs. Then here we have, I believe, the barn sell point, or the equivalent of the barn sell point. Selling station 3, selling station 2. So there's selling station 3, equivalent of the barn, aside from the fact that it does not take silage. This is also going to be our spinnery and cotton sell point. And then this over here. This was kind of interesting. When I saw this, I was like, oh, is this maybe an alternate player farm area? Kind of set up that way. I like how the power kind of comes here to the house. We got a lane. We got a fenced-in area. But alas, it's not. Because it's part of the unbuyable land. $14 million. So it really isn't set up to be an alternate starting farm area. I think that may be kind of a missed opportunity. That could have been set up as a smaller, maybe cheaper farm option. Give the player an option. Do I start over there? Or do I start over here? Here we are at our shop. We do have our shop icon over here on this side of the building. There we have a large area for our vehicles to spawn in at. And then over on this side of the building, starting about here, we have our maintenance, customize, repair, and sell trigger. head down south. We'll hit that sell point up. Again, we'll go through the fuel area. When we get around to that. So this is kind of interesting. We've got a big parking lot set up here for this particular industrial complex. Comes in here through our scales. And then loop on around to our dump station. And then we have a set of exit scales. So we can get weighed going in and get weighed going out. And then therefore we know exactly how much we have dumped into the sell point. Take a look around, kind of at ground level. You see there is, as the description said, a kind of a hybrid mix of hilly fields and flat fields. With this field up here kind of being the hilliest option. Again, as I said, this side does not have the fuel trigger. The fuel trigger is on the inside phase, so you have to drive through here or here to get to that. If you drive on the outside, you will not get a fuel trigger, as best as I could tell. Take the old rickety bridge. Get back here to the lime station. And that is pretty much the epiphany of hilly fields on this particular map, Field 4. Coming up here to the bulk lime point. Like I said, I really like how this has been staged and set up. We have a lime fill trigger. We have a few soil erosion contour lines here to be aware of. And then someone needs to replace this bridge for sure. Go across the street, that is what's going to take you over to that area that, again, I feel is kind of a missed opportunity. Could have really been set up as a cheaper starting area for someone that maybe wanted to do the 500,000 start from scratch. Traffic is moving on at a leisurely Sunday drive pace of 20 miles per hour or so. Here we have our bale sell point. Also cotton and wool. And then we finally conclude our tour here at a milk and egg sell point right here. So guys, that is Ibis Farms. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this interesting, smaller Brazilian inspired map? Like I said, we've had kind of the influx of Brazilian or South American maps as of late, and I like seeing that. I like seeing the representation from various farming areas around the world into Farm Sim 19. So until next time, happy farming.